got a couple things we want to talk about tonight. We're going to talk about the kicking game, and we're also going to talk about the defense. The two things that have hurt the Titans a lot this year. Ought to be fun, but the first thing we've definitely got to talk about is the part of the kicking game is the punting game. That they okay. For those that don't know, punter Britt Kearns is out. He's injured. He's a knee injury. He's out. So the Titans brought in Ryan Allen at first, former Patriots kicker. He did solid. He kicked. Line drive kicks. As I was speaking to ESPN's Teron Davenport, talking to him about a little bit about Ryan Allen, and hey, he said, hey, the guy did a good thing. He was doing his thing, kicking the football, and you know, he definitely did his thing there. Then, inexplicably, after Trevor Daniels comes in and has great hang time in practice, then the next thing you know, we replace Ryan Allen with Trevor Daniels. Trevor Daniels shanks a kick on against the Colts. He also gets one blocked, and the Titans lose 34-17. Not all of that in terms of the block kick was on Daniels, but you can't shank a kick like that. I mean, and you also could have potentially got the kickoff quicker, the one that was blocked, but you know, you never know what it's a lot of different things that go into that. However, what I will say is that the decision of taking out uh, Ryan Allen for Trevor Daniels is being looked at very closely right now, and a lot of people are squinting and trying to figure out what the Titans organization is doing. Um, Honestly, I wonder, do they really want to make things happen and win or anything like that? Because this decision, in my opinion, is not a winning decision. Ryan Allen has a relationship with Goskowski, who is the kicker for the Titans, which we'll get into him in a second. So naturally, on holds and things like that, it actually is going to be better for him because they have a relationship for the New England Patriots days. And as far as yes, at least Henry and Ryan are balling right now. That I definitely I hear you there. I hear you there, Pablo. But we gotta talk about the bad things right now. For those who don't know, I'm talking to Pablo. He's actually jumping in saying, "Hey, at least Derrick Henry and Ryan Tannehill are balling right now," and I get that. And of course, if you don't see his question or his comment, it's because you're not on the Haps app. I need you to go join the Haps app. This broadcast is going out through Twitter, going out through Facebook, going out on my YouTube page as well. So if you can't catch it there, you can definitely catch it on those places. But this app allows me to be able to reach a bunch of different places at one time. Oh, and another thing, Koskowski had made so many game winners with the Pats. Oh, I get that, but we're gonna talk about him in a minute, Peter. All right. So as far as the kicking game, okay, for those that don't know Trevor Daniels' story, Trevor Daniels was working at FedEx, had his FedEx uniform on when he came for the tryout, did his thing, left, and then the Titans called him back for a practice squad, and they called him up, and he became the kicker. If you don't know this by now, Mike Vrabel has a thing for hanging on to people and keeping up with people until I guess I don't know until he's like forced his hand is forced or something. I don't know. But anyway, he is hanging on to Trevor Daniel when the fact is that Ryan Allen was the better kicker when he was here. He kicked the ball great. It sure enough was line drive kicks, but he kicked the ball great. He did his thing and he helped the Titans when he was here. And also, he has a relationship with Gostkowski as a former Patriot. They're both former Patriots. So, with that being said, I'm still trying to figure out where Trevor Daniel fits in. This week is a big week for him. He's going to have to punt better and be better than he was last week. His average per punt and his just his abilities as a punter was worse than Ryan Allen's the week previous. So that has to be better. If that's not not better, then I think the Patriots, excuse me, the Titans need to call Ryan Allen, get him back into town, and let him be the punter for the rest of the year or however long that Brett Kearns is hurt. Um, and obviously you're seeing right now the importance of Brett Kearns, a punter. I mean, he's not a, he's somebody said that he was one of the ESPN reporters said he was one of the best players on the Titans team. And you can't even doubt that, to be honest. I mean, he's not the best player on the team, as was stated, but he is definitely one of the best players on the Titans team, and he's the punter. So there you go. As far as the kicking game with Guskowski still has his struggles. He still misses some. He still makes some, but he's just not consistent. At this point, I'm not sure if you can go find somebody off the street that's any more consistent than he is. I don't know. Maybe it's just a relationship from the Patriots kind of connection there, but Vrabel's not going to give up on him. He's not going to give up on Gaskowski, and I don't understand it. I don't know why, but he's had plenty of chances to sit him down and go with somebody else, but he continues to stick with him. I understand riding with the players. I get that. But at one point, does it become a thing where your team begins to get upset with him and then at you because the kicker is not doing his job? That's something Mike Vrabel might want to think about. Just saying, might want to think about that one. Oh, Pablo said, "Put him in the game, coach." I used to play soccer. Oh man, yeah. Hey, soccer style kickers have made a great living in the NFL. That's for sure, as well as kickers from Australia and other places. So, all right, let's. We've talked about the kicking game. Let's talk about the defense. The defense looked really, really bad. They looked bad. They did. Can't even can't even front. They looked really bad. And for those that don't believe me, come on now. You're kidding yourself. I mean, they did play bad. They have played bad. And it just doesn't seem any signs that they're going to get better. Yeah, Vrabel is never going to bench Goskowski. Yeah, he might not never bench Goskowski, but it could cost him games and eventually potentially the playoffs. And then at that point, he's got a tougher decision on his hand. And he may have lost some, and he could potentially lose players in the meantime. Not saying he has already. I'm just saying, if you keep employing a kicker that doesn't come through, then that could, make some players upset, especially if they lose games and miss the playoffs. That's all I'm saying. All right. As far as the defense continues to not make plays. Unfortunately, they're just not making plays. They're not doing necessarily the things that you would need them to do. Well, I'll take that back. They are making plays in terms of being an opportunistic defense. However, they have not necessarily been the team that needs to get the consistent stops over and over and over again. The Titans need that. They need that. Unfortunately, it's just not been for them this year. I don't know what's going on defensively, what's happening, but they just cannot make it happen. Um, one suggestion I made earlier this week, and I actually wrote it, is that they may want to reach out to Dean Pease. For those that don't know, Dean Pease was the defensive coordinator of this team last year. He actually had this defense playing well. And, honestly, looking at the team, don't have a lot of different pieces except for better pieces. I mean, you look at the pass rush, the players last year compared to this year, they have more active players in terms of, you brought in a Jadavion Clowney, you have Simmons inside, you have Landry on the opposite side. He isn't by himself anymore outside anymore. Then you have, you're missing Jarrell Casey, but you still have better pass rushing all around, or statistically, you should have better pass rushing. At the linebacker position, in terms of like the inside linebackers, you have Jam Brown and Rashawn Evans, the same two guys last year, who were playing out of their minds last year. Then you got the two safeties, the same from last year, Byard and Vaccaro. As far as corners, you have Malcolm Butler, who missed half the season last year, and come back. You don't have a Dory Jackson, who's out injured still. Not sure when he's coming back. And I mean, you've had Jonathan Joseph to start the season, which that was bad, but it is what it is. They moved on, and the guys they brought in to replace him have been a little better. Have been better. So, what I can say about this defense is, if you look at it, it should be better than what it is. They have pieces they had that were better than last year. They have pieces better than they had last year. However, the performance is bad. And there is one name that you can put on that. That's Mike Vrabel. Mike Vrabel took over more of the defense this offseason. Didn't name defense coordinator, but he just jumped in and said he gonna do the job or do more of the job. And honestly, that wasn't the wisest decision because if you go back and look at his teams in his defenses in Houston when he was the defensive coordinator, didn't do very well. And this defense is following in that tradition. They're a little bit predictable. They also, when it's like say it's like 3rd and 7 or anything like that, he has his DBs backed up like 9 or 10 yards. I get it. You don't want to let anybody behind you, but if you're lined up at 10 yards, that's not going to force the offense to make some quick decisions. It's not. If 3rd and 7 or third anything like that, you want to either press or mix up your coverages, do something like that to kind of throw them off. Also, the blitzing packages. Where are the blitzing packages to kind of pressure the quarterback? If you're not getting pressure, consistent pressure with your front four, or in this case, they're running a 3-4 front five, then you need to kind of change some things up, blitz, things like that to get the ball in the hands of the quarterback, make it where it's short passes, or either they're trying to go for the big deep pass, but the timing will be thrown off if the pressure gets there, obviously. Bringing in Dean Pease would be great because Dean Pease he actually did his defenses per the whatever team they were playing during the week. So he actually did a very designated game plan for each team based on the personnel and the people they were playing. That is what's missing from the Titans. They bring him in. They can bring him in virtually. Just let him look at the team, look at the plays, and give some suggestions. And be a consultant for Mike Vrabel because it's obvious that Mike Vrabel needs help defensively. He needs help doing running that defense. Whatever they have on their staff right now is not working. It's not working. They need something else. That just is what it is. I don't. People can tell me anything they want. Players are not playing at the level they're supposed to play, things like that or whatever, and that may be true. However, they need they need another defensive mind in there and the defensive mind of Dean Pease to help them. Because with the defense the way it is, even if they make the playoffs, I can't say that they would go very far because their defense can't stop anybody, can't get key stops. They are opportunistic, of course, but they just can't get key stops. They need to be able to get those key stops to win games. That's going to be an issue. I would suggest call Dean Pease, put your pride away, Mike Vrabel, call Dean Pease, let him be a consultant, whatever you want him to be, just get him in the building or get him virtually in the building. That's what I would tell you. Uh, I would say that Titans, they've got the Ravens this week. I'll be back later this week with the pre-game and post-game talk about the Titans. Of course, much of it will be about talking about the defense as well. I will say that I did have to talk about the bad. We'll talk about the good one of these days. But for the Titans, they lost 2 of their last 3 games, 3 of their last 4. Hey, something's got to give. Something has got to give for the Tennessee Titans. It's Mike Patton. You can follow me on Twitter at Mike Patton82. You can also check me out on YouTube as well. This video will be there later on. Also, what I would say is if you have not downloaded the HAPS app, go ahead and do that. Tell them Mike Patton sent you. Trust me, you can get all your news, all your sports, anything like that. You can follow my people like Brian Waters talks about the Ravens and the NFL and the NBA. You follow Daniel Artest. He gets guess that is Ron Artest's brother. He is on here talking NBA. You can follow Ashley Baker. She's on here talking NBA and she's on here talking NFL as well. She's a diehard Cowboys fan. Don't hold that against her, y'all. But anyway, you can jump on here and do a few, and follow, get all your news, whether it be politics, whether it be sports, art, music, whatever you want to get. We got it right here. Hey, thanks, Danny. Thanks, man. Hey, I tried to do what I could, man. He said, "Hey, I got a question here. Hey, wanted to ask on a previous stream. Yours is called Calm Lake. I don't know. I'm not sure what that question is. But anyway, all right. I'm signing out. Y'all have a good night.